I'm really excited for you to meet one of my students and one of my alumni and one of my clients, Sara. I love hearing your journey. I love hearing how you got to where you are right now and how you've evolved and allowed yourself to be open to something that maybe you didn't understand at first and something that was a totally different path than you thought you were going to take. And I think that speaks so much truth, because so many women who are wanting to start their businesses or are on a certain path, sometimes we get like, I was here at one point. Like, I was so crystal clear. I was like, this is the way, and this is exactly what I'm going to coach on. And it's going to be in health and wellness. And I'm going to have an app, and we're going to teach classes all over. We're going to teach classes everywhere. We're going to have this whole thing. And Spirit was like, hell no, you're not. Like, there's a whole different plan I have for you. And it was like, okay, I'm buckling up, like, show me the way. And I think it's so beautiful that, you know, you just shared how it brought you here, because it doesn't make sense at the time. You're just getting these nudges and these intuitive hits. And it's really about being able to trust yourself and being able to follow that, even though like you don't really know exactly why at the time. Came into the program, where were you? Like, where was life? Where was business? How were you feeling before in the last, I guess, 3-4 months ago?
And I remember so clearly that time when I was traveling, and it was just like the few weeks in to the program, and I was trying to catch a call from the train, and like the Wi-Fi was glitchy, and I was so tired and exhausted because everything had gone wrong. And I was just like, I can't do any of it. I can't deal with life right now. And I can't do this thing because I felt like I was already falling behind because my schedule didn't allow me to do the studies or do the classes or do whatever. But then you were just like, just do what you can, and it's okay if you can't do it right now, then you'll get back to it whenever it's important. Going from that very frantic, frazzled mind of like, I can't. And that used to be a pattern for me as well. I can't do this. I just can't. That's what I kept repeating to myself over and over and over again. Over the course of my time, basically. Somewhere along the line, I adapted that belief that I can't do something. And one of the biggest transformations or biggest aha moments or whatever you want to call that was when I was we were doing about, I was asking about the email newsletters. And again, it was like, I can't figure it out. I can't do it on my own. I want somebody else to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, okay. One evening I was like, let's sit your ass down, just look at the class and try to figure it out. If you can't, Autumn is there. Like, I can ask you questions.
Yeah.
I can slowly but surely, I tried to do these things, and I kept telling myself, like, anytime I said to myself, I can't, I'm like, okay, calm down. It's okay. You will. And I think that that's transformed in a lot of other areas as well, looking back on it now. Like, I don't use that word or that phrase anymore because I've done that, and that was such a frustrating part that now I have figured it out. I've kind of semi know what to do. Even if I don't, I know I will.
Something so powerful that you unlocked in your feminine essence, in your power, when you just allowed yourself to just try it out. And that's something that most people, like, if you read that, you wouldn't expect such a profound moment to happen for yourself. through such a simple, small task, but for you to be able to trust yourself and say, when I met with hard things, I can be the person to do this and to move through it and to meet yourself there. That was a really beautiful, beautiful experience to witness.
It was one of those moments, and like, it all credit to you, because like part of your energy was just like, okay, you're safe in this container to do this, to roam freely, to try it out, and you won't come out as a failure. If anything, you've learned something from it, you've grown from it. So for me, it's like those baby steps will eventually lead up to that leap and bound. Showing, like, no matter what, it's always just a matter of showing up and doing the work and doing the not so sexy part of the work, the back end side of things, the like the money management, the newsletter to figure out new tools and things, and doing sales pages. And like, it's those kind of things that you don't necessarily want to do because you're creative and you have this greater vision and you know where you want to go, but you don't know how you're gonna get there. I think that you're so good at, like, great, you have this vision, so here's some of the action steps that you can take. Don't listen to me, but I'm just giving you options that you could do X, Y, and Z, or you can just ask yourself what would be most fun for you, not even logical, but most fun for you to do right now. Combination of it all is just like, I didn't think that astrology would come into my life, into my services that I will be doing, but then I started with Jupiter, and then all of a sudden it was like a brick on the head. It's like, no, you gotta do it. To give that sense of safety in order to feel the freedom to roam around and know that whatever is on the other side is exactly what you need. Is this working? If it's not, then what can I do to change it? How can I shift and sort through that would feel even more authentic and congruent? And I feel like that's what WBM is really good for. It's like, you don't make any false promises. However, it's still like, you're still gonna gain so much more out of it than you could even dream of, because you just don't know what you just signed up for.
How did it feel to implement and work with some of these like masculine led structures, like we were just talking about, as being like a visionary, as being a creative, as being like the feminine goddess that you so innately are?
This gives me so much of my own power back. And how you do one thing is how you do most things. So when you put a sense of structure in one area of your life, that kind of trickles down to other areas as well. Though we don't often like routine and structures, I feel like they are so necessary, especially when the world is chaotic outside of us, but it's always coming home to you and coming to your inner self. And no matter what is going on, like if it is chaotic outside, that doesn't shake you when when your foundations have been set so firmly. You still get to do things that you've been wanting, if not even more, because now you have all of this time and space available to you. Talk a lot about like kink and BDSM worlds. Respect is so important, especially in that realm, that you can't be anybody's partner if you don't have sense of respect. Have respect. Respect is paramount. Have that sense of discipline to do certain things. Become your own leader. Do the things in a way that serves you, and become so that you can become a servant to other people. especially when you're in service business, you need to be able to serve from a full cup. You can't serve from when your cup is empty, because then there's nothing to give, and that goes out of your boundaries. Allowing the masculine to take the lead for the feminine to be led is so hugely important, and it's big part of what I do with my clients as well. And it's like a lot of women, they don't allow themselves to be in that space because they feel like they need to be the leader and the provider and the servant all at the same time, but that just doesn't work for highest good of all, if you will. Just learning how to speak in the most authentic way about my offers and my services that would connect with people in an authentic way and like feel connected, and they can actually feel what it is that I do. It's me back in my empowered, badass, dominatrix, creatrix place. And that in itself was like, aha. I'm here to be a little bit of both different scenarios. I'm not in a dominant energy all of the time, and I don't want it to be. It's not even my preferred state. However, my business requires that part of me to show up. Throw out everything that you know and be open to changing everything. Open yourself for different perspectives, for new perspectives, for trying new things, for trying things a different way, for being guided and led and being supported through it all. I don't think that there is anything that will go wrong, and you just know it's this intrinsic inner knowingness that you will just figure it out, find your way, and do your own thing in the way that serves you, and have this big vision of how you want your life to be, how you want to show up in your business, how you want to do your business, how you want to do everything. But then you don't necessarily know how you're going to do it. Have this fear. And the money might be like the first layer of it. But then underneath it, you might be asking yourself, what if this actually works out? What then? What if this doesn't work out? What then? What if I'm actually going to get everything that I've ever wanted and then some? Because people are actually more afraid of the success that they're going to get before they get it than the failure. Because a lot of people are used to the feeling of things not working out or going the way that they want it to. But they're not used to things working out. Never go your way, because that's not how universe works. And pain is our biggest teacher. There's that trust within myself to be able to do this thing that I never thought that I would be able to do. And that in itself creates trust, dependability in yourself, self-confidence, and just that intrinsic knowingness that you do have what it takes when you go through the mud. This really is like the perfect opportunity to have somebody who is so in tune, so amazing, and so genuine about everything, and just like wants to see you succeed, wants to see you move through your own hurdles and challenges. I want to thank you for being such a great leader, teacher, mama, all of the things, because you truly are one of my favorite people in the world. And If you are contemplating whether or not to join WBM, talk to your fears, recognize whether it's a fear or if it is something that is not right for you at this moment in time. If you're a little bit of curious, that curiosity should tell you that maybe there is something, but you're too afraid to take action. But just open that conversation, whether it's within yourself or with Autumn or with, you know, having that tool to speak to it. I think that that will go further along than you can recognize at this moment in time. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Sometimes it doesn't. And that's okay. But being open to these opportunities that are given to you, and 2020 is a year of Jupiter, 2020 vision. It's all about expansion, growth, learning new things, learning, like being given new perspectives. And Jupiter doesn't give you anything that you don't need at the time that you need it. This is something that you've been thinking about constantly and couldn't stop thinking about. Then maybe there's some action that you need to take. Their support and teaching, they are with me for a lifetime.